In this video, I'm going to tell you guys some of the best ways you can save the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time possible. And in case you're already wondering, I'm not going to tell you to stop going to Starbucks, cancel all your subscriptions, or to sell all your most prized possessions. Stay tuned. Hey guys, my name's Blake and welcome to my channel. It's no secret in today's world, times are really tough, and I think just about everybody can feel the constant constraint of inflation around their bank accounts. On this channel, we focus on financial freedom because life is too short to work until you're too old to enjoy retirement. Now, saving money fast is hard, no doubt about it, but so is living paycheck to paycheck, so you need to choose your hard. According to a survey by Bankrate, less than half of adults would be able to pay for a $1,000 emergency with their savings, while 40% of adults say they would borrow the money in some other way, like using a credit card, borrowing it from family, or getting a personal loan. So how do you set yourself up to be able to grow an emergency fund and to avoid putting yourself further into the hole with high interest debt? Now this is where most people suggest that you cut your expenses in some of the most ineffective areas of your spending. No more Starbucks, buying new clothes, and sorry, but you can't send out your yearly potato gift boxes anymore. Now don't get me wrong, cutting out some of the smaller expenses definitely helps, but it shouldn't be the primary focus of how you save your money. Like Scott Trench says in his book, Set for Life, the real problem lies in your rent or your mortgage, your commute and your driving costs. And I know I'm guilty of this last one, so don't feel bad. We probably eat out or order delivery way more than what we should. Now this is where a lot of people will work just a little bit more to keep the current lifestyle that they have or to contribute a little bit more towards savings, which is totally fine. But did you know that a dollar saved is worth more than an extra dollar earned? Why, you may ask? Because Uncle Sam has already taken his cut of the dollar that you've saved. The money that you've saved has already been taxed. So you'd be better off trying to cut $100 from your expenses somewhere as opposed to going out and trying to make an extra $100. Okay, I've kept you waiting long enough. So what are the best ways to save money? Let's start off with the biggest monthly expense that most of us have, housing. Credit Karma says that the average rent for a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment in the US is over $1,300 per month. That's nearly $16,000 per year in rent. So how do you offset this? Well, it's simple really. You need to get a roommate. Now, I know a lot of you are like, no way, but hang on, just hear what I have to say. Assuming that you're paying the average rent in the US, if you were to find someone that you trust, like a family member or friend, to stay in the other bedroom to pay half the rent, that puts $8,000 per year that's already been taxed back into your pocket. If you make $60,000 per year at your current job, you'd need a 10 to 15% raise to match that. And guess what? You'd still have to pay taxes on it. Cutting your housing expenses in half or completely eliminating them altogether will propel you into your journey of financial freedom much faster than working that extra overtime day or cutting out your morning cold brew. You could even eliminate your housing expenses altogether by house hacking. Now personally, this is my favorite way to save money and to build wealth fast. Now I won't get into a ton of detail on this because I'll probably make a whole video on this topic, but in short, it's whenever you have tenants come in and they'll stay in extra rooms in your house or extra units in a property that you own, and they'll pay you rent every month. That rent will then offset the mortgage and possibly even cash flow you some money by the end of the month. That's not even counting the principal pay down that's being paid down by your tenant, so you're essentially living for free. Isn't that crazy? Imagine how much money you could save every month with not having a rent or mortgage payment. For a lot of people, that expense is a whole paycheck. The next major expense is your vehicle and the commute to work or school. The average payment on a used vehicle is $525 per month and $700 per month for a new vehicle. Gas can run you anywhere from $150 to $200 per month. This is actually a major area that I'm looking to improve in this year in my expenses because currently I have a long drive to work and that has my wife and I spending like $400 per month in gas. If you're the average consumer, you could be spending close to $1,000 per month on your payment in gas alone. That's not even considering the insurance on a newer, nicer car and regular maintenance. Now, the obvious way to save money here is to not buy a fancy car, but that's not the only way. On average, Americans tend to move about 12 times in their lifetime. The next time you move, I would be sure to consider how far the home is from where you travel most, usually work. Living as close as possible to your workplace will save you the maximum amount of money on gas and wear on your vehicle. Now I know this may be a ways out before a lot of folks can implement this, so I want to leave you with something that you can start doing today to save. Credit card rewards are becoming increasingly more incentivizing. If you know how to manage them, they can be an extremely useful tool. Getting a credit card that gives a high % cash back is a great way you can save at the pump. For example, the Citi Custom Cash Card gives you 5% cash back at gas stations, not to mention a free $200 if you spend $1,500 within the first 6 months. Now, this is a great way to save some extra money, but you cannot use it to go and rack up a bunch of extra debt. You should only spend on that card what you can afford to pay off at the end of every month, or the interest rate on the credit card will easily eat away any rewards that it earns. And a quick side note on these while I'm at it is credit card rewards are actually considered by the IRS as probates or discounts and are non-taxable. The next thing on our list that always seems to take a huge chunk of our money is groceries. The biggest way that I've found to save money at the grocery store is by never going on an empty stomach. You're actually twice as likely to pick foods based off of your cravings, and they're usually more expensive and calorie dense. Avoid name brand items, they're also more expensive and tend to be very similar to the off-brand items. The off-brand items usually just aren't marketed as well as the only difference. Be sure to take inventory of ingredients you already have at your home. You can plan meals around those to avoid waste, and you'll not spend as much during that grocery trip. If your store has a reward system, be sure to use that as well for discounts, and a lot of them offer fuel points too. Now, don't you guys hate whenever you get your paycheck and all that money comes right off the top for utilities? These are fixed expenses, right? Well, not exactly. Just a couple months ago, we were paying $200 per month for a 2-person household just for water and sewage. I don't know where you guys live, but that's really high for around where I'm at. So we looked for the problem. Toilet was running. We could have solved this issue for new internals for about 30 bucks, but we splurged. We got a new toilet for $100. The very next month, the bill went down to $97. Instantly, it paid for itself in 1 month. So every month after that, it's basically saving us $100. This is just one example of a budget-friendly thing that you guys could do around your house to save yourself some money. Now, what about cable and internet bills always creeping up? Did you guys know that these are negotiable? Well, you probably did, because every time that you try to call to cancel your service, somehow they can magically lower the rate to retain you as a customer for just a little while longer. But before you know it, the rate starts creeping back up again as soon as you turn your eyes off of it. This is where I'd highly recommend using a service like BillShark. BillShark will call on your behalf and they'll negotiate with these companies to lock in a lower rate for as long as they can. They then take a 40% cut of the savings they're able to provide you, or it's free if they're unsuccessful. I'll leave a link in the description for those of you that want to check that out. With all that being said, guys, one of the hardest things to resist is watching your savings account start to grow and not spending it. You need to be methodical, save, work hard, and pay off any high interest debt. One of the biggest mistakes I see people make is using their tax return to go and buy the latest tech, go on lavish vacations, and to leverage themselves into even more debt than what they started with. Anytime I want to buy myself that is something that's a want and not a need, I ask myself one simple question, and I think you should do the same. Is this worth delaying my financial freedom for? If the answer is yes, then I'll buy it. Absolutely no one is perfect with their finances, guys, and everybody messes up from time to time, and we buy things that we probably shouldn't have. I believe as long as we're all making a continuous effort to improve, then that's okay. With all that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.